Casey Gray here, and you are watching another episode on the Conscious Builder channel. If you haven't already, hit subscribe, hit the bell button so you get notifications whenever we post new videos. We are doing 3 a week now, and one of them is what we're doing today, and that is answering questions from some of our viewers and listeners. Today's question is from Roy. Long question, I'm not going to read it all. To summarize it, he's had trouble finding a high performance builder who understands all the insulation and air sealing details, but he did find somebody and they're open to it. So I'll read part of it, and it says, they say they're open to trying to do the air sealing, but I guess I have to guide them and hope for the best. Any advice on this? I'm thinking the house, when the house is framed, I'll go around and tape and caulk with acoustic seal and then hire aero barrier. Thoughts? So a couple thoughts on that. Hoping for the best is never a good strategy. We want to have a plan. The number one thing when it comes, like anything in life, you want to plan as best as you possibly can. Air barrier is one of those things that you have to plan. You have to put some thought into it. Yes, there are going to be things that you forget or overlook on a sheet of paper or on a computer screen, and you'll have to figure it out on site because you'll realize that what you thought you had figured out, you didn't figure out. But just trying to figure out everything after the fact is not going to end up with a very good seal. We don't really use or rely on acoustical sealant, right? That's something that's used in like typical minimum building code stuff. We have other details. We're mostly relying on tapes and barriers and complete, like in some cases we'll use like a thicker OSB as an air barrier, but it depends on the assembly, and this is why it needs to be factored into the design ahead of time. You know, picture a red line. If you're looking at a wall section or a section of your entire house, and you have a red line that's considered your air barrier, how are you going to get that red line all the way around? Like under your slab, up your foundation walls, under your plates, on the outside or inside. It can go either way. That's the thing about the air barrier, is that can go anywhere in the wall assembly, but it just needs to be continuous. And continuous is the key word, is how are you going to transition from one substrate to another. Spray foam doesn't solve all the answers like most people think. It doesn't seal as good as people think. It doesn't expand in all the tight little cracks. So you have to put thought into how you're going to seal a building. That's what we're doing here, where I'm sitting in this 161-year-old house. We've had to put a lot of thought into the air sealing details, knowing what we were getting into. So the other thing I want to comment on is aero barrier. We haven't used it on a project yet. I have spoken to the reps here. Seems like a great product, but it's not something you want to rely on. It's kind of like what you bring on after the fact if you didn't hit your results, or there's not a way to improve it, or you move into a house and it's already done and you're hoping to seal it up. That's where aero barrier can come into play. We looked into this for this house. It doesn't make sense because it's meant to be like the foolproof system after the fact, right? To seal all the little holes that maybe you couldn't get. So in your case, could it work? Yeah, potentially, but if you put a little bit of planning and thought into it ahead of time, you will likely end up with a better product instead of, like I said, hoping for the best. It's not going to work out that well. So tell your contractor, your builder to watch some of our videos. We got lots going on, but there's a lot of suppliers out there that know a lot as well that can guide you in the right direction towards better products. So Roy, I really hope the project goes well. If you have any more questions, send them our way and we'll be sure to get them on the channel. Glad you tuned in for another episode. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button so you get notifications on all of our exciting videos. 3 a week, like I mentioned at the beginning, including questions like these. So be sure to post your questions either in the comments below or on any of our other socials.